What is going on, guys? Welcome on board to Friday Night Dog Talk. Tonight, we're going to be talking about whelping and the supply. Oh, I mistakenly had another screen up. My bad. Listen, tonight we're going to be talking about the supplies needed. All right. I'm not going to talk about, well, better yet, I'm going to hit the most common ones first, but that's not what this live is about. This live is about like taking you in depth, giving you tricks, right? So that you don't lose any pups and making it happen as fast as possible. All right, let me remove this. I was already showing the first item that were on my list. Either way, straight up, we got Queen's New Blood Kennel. This time, I'm not late. There you go. Yes, on time, Christian Iraheta. I hope I said it right, man. My bad. Freddie Stravia, what's up, Bully fam? Hope all is well, everyone. It's Sarata. Good evening, everybody. Adam Fields, good evening. We got Queen's New Blood. Good evening, y'all. Well, listen, I dropped a video today describing a story as to why it is that you must be prepared, whether your female's going into regular labor or she's going to be having a C-section. I'm going to summarize that story. If you guys want to see the video, go see it on our channel. I break down all the little details and nuances of the story. But basically what had happened, I was on my phone texting back and forth with channel members and whatnot, answering questions. And out of the blue, I get a phone call. And this gentleman, you could hear it in his voice how stressed he was. And he was like, Raul, man, I watch your channel. I watch your content. I'm not a member, but I need your help right now. And, you know, I could tell he really, and you could hear in the background, the kids crying and the wife yelling and whatnot. So I said, what's up, man? What's going on? He's like, man, we just got here to my house. And, you know, my vet is about literally 5 minutes away. He's like right around the corner. And our female, she had a C-section. His female had a C-section, and she had 6 puppies. Okay. And he says the vet brought the female out, and she was, you know, real clumsy because of the anesthesia and whatnot. And what ended up happening was he kind of was in a bit of a rush. And that was because it was either President's Day. This was in January. So I don't recall exactly what holiday it was. I think it's probably President's Day. It was a 3-day weekend. And long story short, the vet told him, hey, man, you know, basically you don't have to stay here to, you know, whelp the pups. You could take them to your house since you're just 5 minutes away. He took the female, took the pups, took them to the house. And as soon as he got there, he says he put the pups on the mom. Literally for 10 minutes, everything seemed to be going fine. His wife was helping him out. She was inside with the pups. Then, out of the blue, the dog snaps at the wife. Luckily, she didn't bite her. She just snapped at her. Wife, you know, literally got out of the whelping box. And this dog stands up and starts literally biting puppies one after another. And, you know, this guy, he was honest with me. He said, man, Raul, I got to tell you something, bro. I wanted to stop her, but I really, really couldn't because I was afraid. I mean, I'd known this dog for 2 years. She was looking at me, but she was looking like right through me. Her eyes were just pupils completely dilated. Like she was like a feral dog. Like, you know, she had gone back to like primal instincts or whatnot. So, I mean, I understood it. He said there was a sliding door, right next to the whelping box. They opened the sliding door and the dog got out to the yard. He was able to get her out because he had a broomstick and the wife had a mop and they were yelling and screaming at her. I guess they scared her out. So he says he called the vet and the vet told him, hey, bring the dog in. And man, unfortunately, the guy said, man, I was too afraid to go get her, man, because I didn't think that I could transport her safely to where the vet was at. And the only thing that came to my mind was to give you a call. I said, well, man, that's fine, bro. You always need somebody that has a cool mind in a situation like this to kind of keep everything steady. So, I was like, where's the female right now? He's like, oh, right now she's in my yard, but I'm afraid that she's gonna like escape or something because she's just not behaving like herself. She's running up and down the fence. I said, okay, but is she getting out right now? No. She's not getting out, but she's running up and down the fence. I said, all right, cool. Do this. Ask the vet if there's any way possible you could get your hands on the placentas that were removed from her during the surgery. He's like, what for? I'm like, look, man. And I broke it down to him real quick. Basically, man, what you got to do, what happens is wolves out in the wild, when they give birth, they immediately, eat everything, including the placenta, and they eat the umbilical cord and all that. And that's for various reasons. The first reason is so that when it decomposes, it doesn't let out smell to attract other animals. And even if it didn't decompose, animals or predators have such sensitive noses that they could pick up, organs, the smell of organs and blood and that kind of stuff. So that's the first reason. The second reason is in the placenta is packed with exactly the right nutrients that the mother needs as soon as she gives birth, right? So what ends up happening is when you don't give her this, it's going to take her probably a longer time to be able to recover, right? And then the one caveat that nobody really pays attention to is hormone levels. So it is thought that everything that's in the placenta helps regulate the mom. In fact, I've been reading in literature that it can actually help the release of oxytocin, which is the hormone that causes uterine contraction and bonding between mom and the puppies, right? So the fact that she didn't eat the placenta, the fact that she didn't go through birthing pains causes her not to have the hormone needed to bond with her puppies, right? So basically, she just went through a traumatic experience. You operated on her. She's getting out of anesthesia, possibly confused, and she doesn't have a bonding hormone because she didn't go through labor. She went through a C-section. You see where I'm coming from? So he understood it. He called the vet. The vet reluctantly told him he could come pick up the placentas. He said, I got them in a bag inside of a bin, blah, blah, blah. Because, once they threw it away or whatever, Anyways, dude went over there, picked it up, brought it back. I told him, man, just put the placentas in a bowl and put it outside and have water and see what she does. Well, lo and behold, within minutes, she came by, smelled them, started eating the placenta like she had been on a hunger strike for a year. Ate all the placentas, drank the water, all right? And at about an hour later, this guy, he was texting with me back and forth and giving me updates and whatnot. About an hour later, he's like, Raul, bro, can I FaceTime you? He's like, I got tears in my eyes. I said, yeah, man, for sure. And you could hear the kids and the wife. And when he FaceTimes me, he shows the dog on the other side of the sliding door. She's whining for her pups and she's pawing at the sliding door. She wants to go take care of her puppies. He told me, what do I do? I said, bro, right now we got to do the only thing we can do. And that's open the sliding door and pray that her motherly instinct kicked in. Well, guess what? It immediately did. She licked the puppies. She cleaned everything up, positioned them to suckle on her. She was even crying, making whining noises and following the wife because the wife had wrapped the puppies that were dead in paper towels and she had put them in bags. And somehow she knew that those were her puppies and she was, running after them. It was really heartbreaking. But at the same time, I felt like, hey, man, this is a story that I got to tell you guys because I just got called today and a similar situation happened where the female attacked the pups, but he didn't have access to placentas. The vet told him that the placentas were, that he had like poured iodine on them or whatever. So he couldn't feed it to the dog. But my point is, you can learn so much, right? And there's so much ignorance out there, man. It's so unfortunate that, in this community, we don't pay it forward. We don't educate each other. We don't give people, on top of that, the fact that we don't pay it forward, on top of that, a lot of times people don't invest the time needed in their business. I saw a post recently, a guy lost a dog, due to bloat. And, he was writing on there, I can't take any more losses. This game is not for me. And I'm sorry to say this, man. And I know it sounds like, I'm heartless, but the fact that you're referring to this as a game immediately tells me you're not taking this thing serious, bro. Because, how many times have we sat here and talked about bloat, so on and so forth? Tonight, we're going to be talking about everything you need to prepare, right, for whelping. Now, mind you guys, I put together a list that's pretty extensive. There may be things that I miss, okay? I'm only talking about the things that I think are the most important. If you see me miss something, I need you to bring it up, okay? I need you to bring it up, as we go forward. Also, I want to play a game with you guys, and I hope you guys agree with this. So I'm going to need a degenerate gambler, somebody that wants to gamble. I'm going to let you gamble tonight, and we're going to make a deal here in front of everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a sentence that I already wrote, and I'm going to go ahead and put the words individually as I go through the live on the screen. They're out of order. You got to kind of put them in order, and they're based on tonight's topic. At some point, I'm going to say the phrase, or even if I don't say the phrase, you will understand that the phrase has everything to do with what we're talking about tonight. Now, here's the deal I'm going to make with you. If a member wins, if the member is able to guess the sentence by the end of the live, once I give the last word and he or she is the first person to post it, I'm going to go ahead and send you Nuvet completely free. I'm going to send in your direction. But if a non-member wins, that person that I'm saying that needs to bet, this is the proposition I'm going to offer you. The person that wants to bet, if a member wins, I'm going to send that member Nuvet, but I'm also going to send the person that bets Nuvet. But if a non-member wins, that person that bets has to gift 5 memberships. So you let me know, anybody out here that's in the betting mood, let me know and we'll get started. By the way, this is the first word for the night. First word for the night. So you might want to grab a piece of paper or a notebook or type it into your phone or something. This is the first word for the night, okay? I'm not going to repeat this word, and as we go forward, I'm not even going to mention it anymore. It's just going to pop up, okay? So let me catch up on the comments here real quick. Rican Blues, biggest mistake should have been her time to recoup from the anesthesia. Yes, that you may very well be right. I think also the placenta not being there, and I think the vet kind of rushed it a little bit. That's my opinion. XL Champ Cooper, man, Raul, that cilantro really works for dog breath. Yes, sir. I know. The info we throw out there, man, is based on experience. Dave Klein says, good evening. I'm a little late to the party. No worries, man. We're about to get started. Michael Higginson, what is going on? By the way, guys, let's tell Mr. Michael Higginson happy anniversary to him and his lovely wife, man. Nothing but love for you and your wife, man. And thank you for stopping by, brother. Adam Fields, how much time should you give a female to recover from anesthesia before introducing the pups to her? Okay, Adam Fields, this is an excellent question. I want to see my female able to walk without any kind of stumbling. I don't care how long we're going to wait. Also, when I take my female to the vet, I want them to put her on fast-acting anesthesia, preferably propofol, which they call the Michael Jackson drug. It looks like a little bottle of milk. Propofol is one of those things that will induce in and out. The minute you stop the drip, like literally within 20, 30, 40 seconds, you see them regenerating, and they're able to kind of get it out of the system a lot faster. So excellent question, man. Good evening, tapping in from Minnesota. Cash the Bully. All right, Cash the Bully. Jawbray Bullies Joaquin had the same question. Adam Fields. There you go. Hey, Mr. St. James 45, man. Welcome on board, brother. I appreciate you for becoming a new member.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón.
Pues claro que sí, cabrón. Every Monday, every Friday at 8 p. CST, we're going to make it happen, man. Queen's New Blood. I don't really do C-sections, but have a vet on standby just in case for situations similar to this. It's good info to request the vet to keep all placentas. Yes. How often should I put apple cider vinegar in my dog's water? We're not on that subject, Mr. James. So all I'm going to ask is, I'm going to answer this now, but I'm going to ask for questions outside of the topic. If you could hold them all the way for the end, okay? And I'll be more than happy to answer. How often I put vinegar every single day in my dog's water. It's the amount that you put in. On a 5-gallon bucket, like the ones you buy, say, in Home Depot, for example, we're putting a top's worth in there. If you're looking at a big bowl of water, you're looking at maybe half a teaspoon, okay? Travador, what about female gives natural birth to puppies? Does everything it should, including placenta, takes care of the puppies, and 3 days later eats the puppies? Okay, we're going to get into that, Traber. I'm going to answer that further in as to why we need to find a space for the female that she can relax and not have anxiety. Okay, when a female dog gives birth, naturally, it is when they mostly have anxiety and when they're mostly sensitive to any type of environmental stressor. Okay, we're going to get into that. Tapping in, Marikai family. All right, man. Nadies, XLs, wouldn't it be common sense to keep the placenta and give it to the breeder if the pup had C-section as opposed to giving birth naturally? Yeah, okay, so you have to tell the vet or have that conversation with the vet before they do the C-section that you want the placentas. They are taught to basically throw the placentas away. I have never had a vet, and mind you, there's always an exception to the rule out there, but I've never had a vet say to me, hey, hold on, here's a Ziploc full of the placentas. Make sure you give that to the mom before you put the puppies on her. I've never had that. They always rely on the puppies suckling on the nipples. When that happens, that also makes the mom release oxytocin. But the problem lies in that before you're putting the puppies on her, she's coming out of anesthesia and she already doesn't have what she should already have, which is enough oxytocin from contractions, letting her know that she is to bond with those puppies, right? If it makes any sense. All right, deal. All right, Queen's New Blood said deal. So Queen's New Blood, just let me know. Are you the one that's gambling tonight? Just type yes or no, and I will know. The thing I'm worried about with my girl Sephora is that she could step on or lie on the pups. As a singleton, she has no concept of the space. An issue I've had with her as a singleton. That's a good point to bring up. Only natural birth, the pup already has a placenta and umbilical cords to ingest them. Yeah, I agree. They do. Hugo Rosado, what's up, man? Liz Moore, Happy Annie, there you go. D. Taylor, what's up, everyone? Dracula, hello, everyone. Freddy Strivia, happy anniversary. Michael D. Taylor, there's never enough watching. You can do your best. Love the mother. No whelps will go flawless, but practice perfect research so you have tools to go to save a separate playlist. Okay. Okay. Queen's New Blood says yes, she's on board. All right. So we're playing the game. I already told you guys what the first word was. If you came in late, you're missing out. We're playing a game where I'm going to be dropping words. And at the end, if you're able to guess the sentence I have written on here, which has to do with this topic, then I will go ahead and send you a Nuvet plus the gambler over here. So Queen's New Blood is the gambler right here, right? But if a non-member guesses it correctly rather than a member, she's going to have to pay for 5 memberships. So we're having a ball here tonight, man. Dietrich Haggins, what's going on, good peoples? There you go, man. All right. So, guys, let me jump on topic. You know we're gambling degenerates. I know you are, man. I know this. Queen's New Blood, thanks. It's a win-win situation. Got membership for free or Nuvet for free. There you go. There you go. Let's pay it forward to this community, and let's all win, right, while we're at it. Queen's New Blood, y'all better pay attention. All right. Adam Field says he's in, but you're too late. I could only take one gambler. We're doing this as a test for tonight. And I said I'm only going to take one gambler. So here we go. Oh, man, VBX is already praying for MBK, man. All right, so here we go. So we're going to go off of my list. And the first thing on my list is a whelping box. Okay, obviously, you need a whelping box. I'm going to be bringing up on the screen what we're going to be looking at. So there's many different types of whelping boxes, guys. I strongly suggest when choosing a whelping box, don't choose it based on how pretty it looks. Okay. There's 2 things that you should strongly be considering. I don't know if you're already noticing on several of them, but if you notice, you see the rails at the very edge. Those rails are there so when mama dog lays on the side, she doesn't squish the tiny little puppies, right? So that's one of the first things that you must consider. This one has different type of rails, I guess, so the puppies could be underneath there. So that's the very first thing that you should be considering. The second thing that you need to be considering is hygiene, okay? Hygiene. Nothing will kill your puppies faster than bacteria and or fungi buildup through feces or anything like that. And no one, hold on, let me get out of this screen because it just okay. So I'm not here saying that you guys are not going to clean or anything. All I'm saying is if you were to get, say, a box like this one, for example, you built one like this. If you built a box like this, make sure that somehow you're able to clean everything, not just the rug at the very bottom, but everything all the way around. Otherwise, you've just created a big old germ box, right? First day is going to look great, but by the time a week and 2 weeks go by, the smell is going to be horrendous. Also, you see the lighting up here? That right there is a heat lamp, and that's going to allow bacteria to grow really fast. Heat lamp is one of the things that you're going to need. So I'm saying all that to tell you that the way that I whelp puppies, we use this right here, none other than a kiddie pool. Okay, kiddie pools are great. Okay, I don't like this little square contraption here. I'll be honest with you, I don't use the rails on my kiddie pools. What I do is I make sure my females are lying on all the way to the corner, and I have the puppies on her. That's why the first week to 10 days is really important that you're on top of things, right? Because even if you do have rails, there is no guarantee that they're always going to work the way that they're supposed to, guys. So the reason I also do kiddie pools is because I'll buy 3 of them. I buy 3 kiddie pools at once. And so the reason I buy 3 at once is we'll have one where the puppies are in there with mom. we have 2 more that are completely clean. So I have one that's completely clean to substitute that one that she's in today. And then I have another one, which is my emergency one, right? So literally every 12 hours, just go ahead and flip them. Take the puppies out, take mom out, put the new one in. And it just makes life so much easier to keep things clean. And, you know, and then the ones that are dirty, you take them out there. I clean them with vinegar, you know, brush them with a broom, rinse them off with water, put them out for the sun to dry, and boom, you're ready for the next day, right? So just keeping it really basic, guys. The next one that the next thing I'm going to recommend that you guys get, right, is none other than a thermometer, right? And well, hold on. Let me put here veterinary. There you go. Veterinary thermometer. There we go. Veterinary thermometer. So let me go ahead and bring it up for you guys to see it, right? So there's plenty out here, and you know, they'll run from $9.99 all the way to what? $317. I'm looking there. So a veterinary thermometer is important. Also, make sure you mark it, right? Make sure you mark the veterinary thermometer. You don't want grandma showing up one day at your house in a rush or something and grabbing the thermometer and, I don't know, putting it under her own tongue or something. So make sure you mark it. So either way, the reason that you want a thermometer, guys, is because dogs, I'm going to talk about American Bullies and American Bully XLs in particular, but you can pretty much generalize this. Their temperature is typically going to run around 103 degree, somewhere around there, okay? And the pregnant females, they may run a little bit higher, but the minute you see, right, the temperature dropping to 99 to 98 degrees, that typically signifies imminent labor. That's what that typically means. It means your female is going into active labor. So, you know, if you're taking temperature records and you're writing them down, it's 103, 103, 103, and out of nowhere it's 99 or 98. Yeah, that's your first sign that your female is going into full-blown labor. The next thing that we're going to be looking at, also, let me rewind real quick. Also, you want to take the puppy's temperatures as well. Keep in mind, puppies cannot regulate their temps. Later on, we're going to go into a recording system. You definitely want to put in get the temperature as soon as the puppy's born. Because later on down, one of the things that kills puppies really fast is hypothermia. They become too cold because they can't regulate their body temperature. And there's always a puppy, I call them GPSs, right? There's always, like, you'll have, say, 8 puppies. You'll have 7, you know, suckling on the nipple. And then you got that one out in left field somewhere. He's completely lost. And, yeah, you got to be on top of that one, because if you don't have a heat lamp strong enough or not in that area, he can die because of hypothermia. So make sure you keep that in mind. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is rather something that I feel a lot of people overlook, and it's going to be gloves and shoe covers, right? And I'm going to bring that up here on the screen. I'm sorry, I'm out here tonight on my own. I don't have Kyle with me. But disposable gloves, guys. Disposable gloves over here, right? Disposable gloves. It don't matter if these little Mickey Mouse ones, as long as they're disposable. And disposable shoe covers. If you have people visiting, which you shouldn't do that, especially with newborn pups, but you have people visiting, if they're walking into the mom's whelping box or kiddie pool or whatever, please, man, at the very least, have them take their shoes off at minimum. Keep in mind, those pups and mom, they're slipping and sliding all over the place on the very ground. So yeah, this right here is very important. Another tidbit I'm going to throw at you is try to minimize the amount of people that have access to your puppies as far as touching them. I know they look beautiful and you really want to get a hold of them, but man, like in our case, I could tell you whenever we've had a litter, well, in my case, it's rather simple. It's either myself, my wife, or my daughter. But if any one of us three are sick or just got over something, we stay away and the other people have to deal with the pups. So I'm just throwing that out there for you guys. All right. The next thing I'm going to recommend for you, I actually have right here, is none other than a cotton ball and isopropyl alcohol. It's really that simple. And I'm going to tell you guys what for. So the next thing, I should have told you the next thing first before I told you this, but it doesn't matter. We're going to come back to it. The way that you cut the umbilical cord, right? Some people use dental floss, which is fine. Anything that cuts off the circulation between the placenta and the umbilical cord, you go ahead and you tie it. Okay. You make plenty of loops around it and make sure you tie it tight, right? And then you go ahead and cut. You want to make sure that you're leaving as at minimum 1/2 of an inch. You don't want to cut it way too close to the puppy's belly. The reason that you want to cut the umbilical cord is because mama dogs are going to typically go in and try to cut it off themselves. And sometimes they will yank at it to a point where they can cause an umbilical hernia on your pup, which it just looks ugly as an eyesore. It's not going to really affect your dog physically. Okay. 91% isopropyl alcohol and the cotton ball. The reason for that is you're going to saturate the cotton ball and you're going to put it over the umbilical cord. Puppy can't feel it at this point. But the reason you want to do that is so mama dog doesn't yank on that umbilical cord and, like I said, cause an umbilical hernia. It's really that simple. The next thing we're going to talk about, so my bad. In that case, you're going to need dental floss. You're also going to need scissors, obviously, okay? The next thing I'm going to have you get is going to be calcium, right? Calcium gluconate. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Let me see if they got the gel for dogs. Let's see, gel for dogs. There you go. Yeah, they do. And it's called Calgonate. And I'll show you here on the screen. Now, the reason that you want to get this stuff is because calcium, right, causes contractions. Let me rewind. Calcium doesn't cause contraction. Calcium is used in order for a muscle to contract. So say, for example, your heart, right? Your heart pumps like this, right? When it pumps, right, when there's a contraction of the ventricles at the bottom, that is calcium contracting. Okay, that's what causes a contraction. What happens is, because the mom is pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to get the puppies out, she may deplete calcium stores, especially if you're not supplementing your dog, appropriately, before she's giving birth, which is one reason why I recommend Nuvet NuJoint DS. You could always order it at nuvet.com, 513237. You get 13% off with auto ship. But check it out, right? Check it out. You're not just getting the vitamins your dog needs. You're also getting minerals, phosphorus, potassium, zinc, calcium, selenium, right? So when a dog's calcium becomes too low and they can't push, it becomes an emergency, and that's called eclampsia. And eclampsia, what happens is the body prioritizes, obviously, the vital organs. And therefore, the body's not going to stop pumping blood to the rest of the body through the heart, because it's going to use what little calcium it is to push a puppy out. It wouldn't serve a purpose. It would kill both the mom and the pup. So because of that order of priority, it takes away the labor pains and it prioritizes the mom's life essentially. So the way around that is you want to supplement. In particular, we supplement Nuvet NuJoint DS, or you can buy something like this right here, gluconate gel right here, and you can put it like this was hydrofluoric, but typically, yeah, here you go, oral calcium for dogs. Here you go. This is the one. So you can buy it on Amazon, have it on board, and you can give it to your dog if they need it. Now, my recommendation to you guys, because you're probably already thinking, well, why would I want to buy Nuvet over here when I could just get that gel? Well, if you get the gel and your dog is starting to experience preeclampsia or eclampsia, that's a complication, bro. Even if you're putting calcium in the gums and you're shoving it down the throat, she's not going to absorb it like that. And more likely than not, you're probably going to be losing some pups. I'm just letting you know right now, if a puppy's placenta came off of the uterus and she went into either preeclampsia or eclampsia, those are going to be puppies you're probably going to lose. I'm just giving you a heads up. This is the reason why it's better to have the calcium stores and everything you need stored up already there, rather than going straight to your emergency parachute the day of. You know, that's usually not the way you want to handle things. The next thing that, you know, and again, this is very usual. The famous bulb syringe, which I'll be honest with you, I think I've only really had to use it. Here, let me show you what I mean. This is a bulb syringe, by the way. I use it every time with my pups, but I'm going to let you guys know in on a little secret, because I've had too many new breeders reach out to me and tell me this. Please don't try to put one of these bulb syringe. I don't care how big or tiny they are. Don't put it in the dog's nose, in the puppy's nose. First of all, when the puppy's immediately born, only when they're suckling are they going to be breathing through their nose. They're probably going to be breathing through their mouth. Okay. So yeah, you definitely want to put this, suck whatever mucus you can, you know, in the mouth, out, whatever, out. More likely than not, you're not going to be able to fit one of these blue bulb syringes in the puppy's nose. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. But that's essentially what it's for. It's just to remove anything going on. My suggestion is, if you guys haven't watched our labor video, I recommend you check it out. And the reason I recommend you check it out is because my wife and I, along with many other breeders, right? We have this technique where you put the puppy in between both of your hands and you do this right here. What that does is it moves all the secretions using gravity and a slight G-force, of course, added G-force with the motion to get all the secretions out of the puppy for it to breathe. All right. So that's the reasoning behind that. The next thing I'm going to tell you, it's going to be kind of obvious, but at the same time, not. And I'm going to tell you why. The next thing that you're wanting to have on board is going to be clean towels, right? So you're like, duh, right? Clean towels. I knew. Yeah. I know you know about clean towels. What you don't know is you don't want to wash those towels using fabric softener. Do not use a fabric softener. If you have a puppy that's having some sort of issues breathing, if you have what we call a preemie, which is not a preemie, and I'll get into that later, and you're putting him or covering him with a towel that has a lot of fabric softener, you're doing him or her absolutely no favors. So make sure no fabric softener if you're going to be using towels, okay, which you will be needing. Next up, heating pad or heating lamp. Let me type it up on here. Heating pad or lamp, right? So let's see. Heating lamp. Let me get it on here. There you go. All right. So the ones, the heating lamps that I use are typical in Tractor Supply, and they're the red light ones, right? Those red light heating lamps, they work very well. They're very effective. You want to make sure, if you can, before your female gives birth, you want to grab a towel, put it in the middle, in my case, in the middle of a kiddie pool, but in your case, it could be in the middle of the whelping box. And you want to put a thermometer underneath it and leave it there for a good 20 minutes and come back and see what temperature's there. You don't want temperatures above 90 degrees. Okay. You don't want to fry the pups. In fact, I have found that the best temperature to keep the pups at is not even 90 degrees. It's more like in between 87.5 and 88 degrees. Because I have noticed that when you keep pups at closer to 90 degrees, they require to suck more to keep hydrated. And mom is having a harder time to produce milk. Okay, because she wants to also lay there and recover. And so it's just, my opinion is keep them at anywhere between 87.5 and 88 degrees, and you should be good. Okay. Let me look at the comments here very quick. Queen's New Buzz says, saw the video, very educational. Thank you. Nadine says, okay, are we mainly speaking of C-section births? Because all of what you're speaking about happens naturally with the mom when she births naturally, instinctively. She does all of this. Yes, this video is about everything, all the materials that you need, whether it's natural or C-section, that you need to have on hand, okay, in case of XYZ. And I'm explaining each particular thing and the XYZ as to why you may or may not need it, if that makes any sense, right? So I'm just saying, I understand that the female mom and you know, she does all this and all that. I get it. My point is, I got to go over everything because I don't know if you're going to be doing a C-section or if you're going to be having a dog that's going to have natural birth. You see where I'm coming from? So we're talking about everything here. We're going over all the materials. The next thing I'm going to recommend for you to have is a food scale. Okay, that's simple. A little food scale. They're not going to weigh that much. I know you want them to, but they're not going to weigh that much where you need a regular scale. A food scale, preferably digital. And I'm going to get ahead of myself and show you guys another thing that I suggest that you have on hand. Let me make sure. Oh, here it is. The other thing I'm going to recommend that you have on hand is one of these little handy dandy whiteboards. And what I do is I put on there puppy ID. I put weight, and I'll explain everything to you here in a second. Sex, and then whether we have a placenta or not. And we can do that with a little check mark or an X, right? So what I want to know, okay, sorry, this thing changes colors. What I want to know is puppy ID. I'm just going to say a marking. It may be the only tricolored pup, or tricolored pup with I don't know, half white on the face, whatever identifies the pup. He's got 3 white markings on the toes. Back left toe has no marking. It doesn't matter. It's just to identify them. So I will write it down, and I will also take a picture of each pup as they're coming out. This way, I have this matching up with the pictures that I take. Then I want to write the weight. Really important, because within 3 or 4 days, if that puppy's weight is not considerably gaining, then you may be dealing with a puppy that's having an issue. You're not going to know unless you weigh them. Sex, obviously, so you know if it's a male or a female, and can be able to keep track of that. And then placenta. Was each puppy born with a placenta? Yay or nay? We know that mom is going to eat the placenta and things are going to be happening rather quickly. it is important to know how many placentas are coming out and how many puppies, because at the end of the day, if you have 10 puppies and 9 placentas, that's also not good, because a placenta inside a mom could eventually turn into poison, basically poisoning the milk for the puppies. So that's the reason that you're going to need that. You're going to need, obviously, an emergency vet contact. Just make sure you have that. I've spoken to you guys about, if you're going to be breeding, make sure you have a vet that gives you 24-hour service. Don't go there and let them take all your money Monday through Friday, and then they can't help you Saturday or Sunday or after hours. That's a bit too convenient. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, you could ask any vet worth their weight in gold. They're going to tell you straight up, it never happens during their time and their convenience. It's always after hours or on the weekend, right? So just keep that in mind. The next thing we're going to go to is going to be warm compresses. Really important, man. I lost an entire litter due to not knowing how to manage mastitis at the time. And I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tidbit. So I typed in warm compress, so I get all this, but you guys get what I'm trying to tell you. It could be one of them little blue bags, like all the way up here in the top left. That's fine. Just don't make it too hot, right? You just want to make it warm. What happened was, it was probably my second litter. And what I didn't realize, and it was my girl Aruba, by the way, what I had realized that she was getting a little bit thick around the mammary glands, but I did not put warm compresses there 2 or 3 days prior to her giving birth. Well, what ended up happening was Mama Aruba, she would go out in the yard and she would lay on the dirt or the ground, and the teats, the tip of it, a little bit of milk would come out, would touch the ground, which is full of everything, and it would infect the teat, and therefore she had mastitis. Long story short, she had 11 pups, 10 died. The only one that lived was my boy Power. And that was the end of that. So I'm just telling you, man, make sure by all means that you're on top of that. Let me see here what's next. Cool cloth trick. Okay, so listen, the cool cloth trick is all it is to cool off the mom. It's going to be really hot, especially if you have a heat lamp in a little kiddie pool. It can get pretty warm in there. So how do you cool mom off without obviously cooling the pups? Well, one of the ways that you could do it is literally just grabbing a towel, putting it in a cool bucket, or even just an ice bucket. Make sure that you wring it, of the excess water, and just put it around her head mostly, or even down by where her sweat glands are in her paws. And this way you can cool her off. The other thing that we're going to be hitting on is the puppy rub down. So if anybody here watched our puppy labor video, you're going to see that we do the thrusting action with the pups. But in addition, we also rub them. Literally, we put their head, gravity facing down, and you rub their backs. Always with the head facing down. Have gravity help you get everything out. And typically, the way that you know that you've gotten everything out is you're going to hear this loud yelp from the pup. And that's the yelp of life. It's really that simple. Now I'm going to start getting into more in-depth stuff, right? Now we're going to get a little bit more into preventing issues that 10 years ago, you might not have been able to, but nonetheless, this is just preventing losing litters over not knowing these tricks. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is dog colostrum, right? And all dog colostrum is the first milk that the puppy is going to have access to from the mom. You're going to see milk. It's going to look white, but it's really colostrum. That's really what it is at first. And the reason that that's important is because puppies are born with an with an immature immune system. And so for the first 28 days or so, they have a very immature immune system. And the only thing that they have that's going to protect them is going to be the mom's colostrum. But like always, as a breeder, there could be major complications. What if mom doesn't produce colostrum? What if mom decides she wants to eat the puppies? What if? So one of the things that you can do is have this colostrum on board. In fact, there's a better type of colostrum that actually comes in liquid form. Let me see if I can show you. I think that colostrum would be even more beneficial. This is goat colostrum. Back in the days, I'm talking about like 7 years ago, I bought like a little ice bag that it came in, and they shipped it to you cool. I guess they found a way to be able to send it to you that way in powder now. That's great. So make sure to get dog colostrum. Okay, dog colostrum. If your puppies are not able to latch on immediately and or they don't get that colostrum, they're going to end up dying. And it's nothing you can do to stop it. It's just a matter of sooner or later, they will not be able to fight off infections, right? So that's the whole reasoning behind it. Sally Adams says, sorry, y'all, I'm so late. I had a snake in my bathroom ceiling. A country ass rat snake. No pay, no stay. It actually hissed at me, the nerve. No worries. Wow, I thought I had a snake problem. Wow. Tell me about it. Let me see here. Adam Field says, have goat colostrum on hand just in case. There you go. Goat colostrum, and that one comes in liquid form. The sass and such a small snake. Okay. Adam Field says, don't get the powder if you're trying to get the goat colostrum. So thanks for that insight. All right. And there you have it. Let me see what else we're going to go over here tonight, because now I'm going to be dropping the type of info. Okay. And then the famous, here we go. The famous, here you go. Let me put here, famous beef liver water. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. You've seen videos on it. We've spoken about it in the past. And here it is. It's just basically beef liver that you go ahead and you put into a pot of water. Okay. Here's a secret I'm going to let you in on when you're doing this. The lower temperature, the better, because if you put it on high temperature and you cook the liver all the way through, then what ends up happening is you're degrading all the vitamins that it's bringing. So the liver water, what is it? What does it do, Raul? Well, if you have a puppy that's fading, a puppy that's a bit lifeless, that's showing that it's got no life, this right here could actually help it come back to life, right? You're literally getting minerals and vitamins and everything you can straight off of an organ. I know it's a dead organ, but it's an organ nonetheless. It's still fresh. But you don't remember vitamin C, for example, at 140 degrees, it starts to degrade, right? So don't go put this thing at 300 degrees. You want to barely simmer it underneath, flip the liver, simmer it just a little bit. It's that water that's got the magic, but you cannot overcook it, because if you do, then you're really doing nothing. Okay, so make sure you keep that in mind. Let's see here. The next thing that we're going to be talking about, I already said fabric softener, minimize. Okay, here you go. This one is really, really important, and I strongly recommend it for anybody. I don't care if people are coming in the house and you're giving them shoe covers, right? Let me put here. Sorry, guys, I'm doing 3 things at the same time. Doormat. Okay, so you want to sanitize the doormat, or even better than sanitizing the doormat. Okay, when I'm talking about the doormats that your dogs are going to be walking in and out of. If you have a backyard and that's where the dog goes to, and nobody steps on that particular doormat because they got their own door or whatever, that's not the worst thing. The bad thing is when you have people coming from outside, you don't know what they stepped on, and they're stepping on a doormat, and you're having your dog walk on it. My recommendation is, rather than sanitizing it, it's even better to just have a doormat for the dog and a doormat for everybody else. And if you know somebody else is coming, switch the doormats. You know what I'm saying? It's very important that mom's paws while she is whelping a litter is clean as a whistle. Okay, even if it means you got to go there and clean them every time she comes in, sanitize her every time she comes in. It's really important because, like I said, puppies are born with an immature immune system. Mom is there. They're rubbing all over. Their body parts are all there. So their little cooters, their little peepees, whatever, are on the ground. And it creates a very easy access for bacteria, fungi, amoeba, anything to get in. All right. Adam Field says, get the beef liver from a local butcher or from Whole Foods, no hormones added to the cow. Good point. Yeah. I mean, use the Walmart brand like the last thing that you're going to use as far as beef liver. And the reason for that is what Adam just said. Dracula says, what is the best time to transport a female from breeding to home? The female's coming from Romania to the UK. Thank you. What is the best time to transport a female from breeding to home? I don't think there's here's the thing. If it has to do with each particular female and her stress level. So say, for example, if you brought her here and I was going to breed her here for 4 or 5 days, she's going to be under a lot of stress. So she's not going to ovulate or put out as many eggs as she normally does. Why is that? Simple. She's in a yard that she doesn't know the pack, so she has to now adapt to the pack. She has a guy handling her and touching her in places that she probably doesn't feel comfortable with, and so she's stressed. So to ask me after I bred her, how soon would I send her back to you? Does it really matter? She's under stress here. She's going to be under stress being transported. She's going to be happy when she gets back to your home. So I would say the faster you could get her to your house, the better. That's the best I can tell you. Wait for you to confirm it or sooner. I'm not sure what you're asking. No company for the first 2 weeks. There you go. There you go, man. A must-have baby wipes, no fragrance. There you go, baby wipes. The other thing I was going to mention is alcohol wipes. If you don't want to do the whole cotton ball and isopropyl alcohol like I mentioned, right, 91%, then that's fine. Make sure you get yourself, this one is 70% isopropyl. It's not going to be the end of the world. The reason you're putting alcohol there is not to kill germs. The reason you're putting alcohol there is to taste nasty for the mom. That's it, just to steer her away. Autumn likes road trips, laugh out loud. There you go. So real quick, guys, let's see here. We're going to be dropping in some words and you guys are going to have to figure out what is the term. One thing that I didn't mention is oxytocin. Now, I know I spoke about it, about when the mom is under a C-section, she doesn't release enough oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. But the other thing you may do if you have that relationship with your vet is ask for oxytocin shots that you can actually give mom. Why? Because a lot of times, especially when they're first time, when they're having a litter for the first time, they can have these long breaks of 3 or 4 hours where they stop pushing, they take a break, and then they start pushing again. Well, the longer those breaks happen, I don't have a book where I can reference you. I can only tell you from my experience. The longer those breaks are, 3, 4, 5 hours, more puppies you're going to be losing. It's what I have experienced. So just a heads up for you guys, man. Let me see here. 1, 2. Yeah. So make sure that if you can either talk to your vet or order it. I have ordered it before. Don't ask me where I got it from. I cannot reveal my source, but make sure if you do order it, make sure to talk to your vet to tell you exactly the dosage. You don't want to go over that. You don't want to pop the uterus either. That's not going to help you. So just keep that in mind. And Sarata said, I never thought about doormat. Good idea. Yeah. Either doormat or, you know, like what my wife does is she gets one of them little pee pads and she puts it on top of the doormat. And so when the dog goes out, comes in a couple times, then she'll just pick it up, throw it out, and put another one. It's just disposable is always the best. Carmelo and Chica TV, a lot of info. Didn't know how much goes into breeding. Thank you. Yeah, Carmelo, I'm glad that you're seeing how much. I can tell you, I am certain that I've missed something that somebody can bring up to my attention. And I hope that they do, because there's more to it. I haven't even begun to tell you the conditions that could start happening negatively, as far as whether the puppies are too big, the mom has dystocia, there's uterine inertia. I mean, there's so much more to this, and we're going to go over that on Monday. Queen's New Blood says, I thought about having a foot shoe bath for whoever enters or exits and lock-in door. That's great that you do that, Queen. The only thing I'm going to say is, don't have your dog step in the same foot bath. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Don't do it. Why is that? If you put vinegar in there, vinegar doesn't kill all bacteria. In fact, there's some bacteria that actually thrive in vinegar. They'll end up eating the vinegar. They'll adapt and they'll end up thriving in there. So in order not to run into those issues, my recommendation is have something that's disposable for the female and have something else for your guests. Okay. It's really, really that simple. Let's see here. Let me answer some questions. And Sarata says, when she had a long stretch breeding, I got her up to walk around and a puppy came after a minute. Okay, yeah. Also, yeah, good point, Sarata. If you're seeing a female having an issue getting a puppy through, but we're going to go over that on Monday in Sarata. Today is more of the equipment. That's why you didn't see me jumping too much into that. But good point. Nadie says, so when the mom waits long, is she deferring the labor for a while? She can, and it's usually not a good sign. Why does a mom defer? Well, some literature says it's completely natural. Other literature says that it's got to do with depletion of whatever. It could be oxytocin, that the hormone is basically not releasing as much for a bit to give mom a break, because she could be overheated or whatever. What I found is every time they take a break like that, it never ends well. There's always some sort of issue. Rican Blues, what to give the mom naturally to produce milk? Rican, hold that thought for Monday. We're going to jump in on Monday for that. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to give you a little tidbit tonight so you don't feel like I'm just pushing you off. I like feeding my females lactose. So milk products like cheese, kefir, milk, yogurt, sour cream, you name it. It's a lot easier for them to pretty much eat that and convert it right back into milk. And Saratha, does it mean that they're switching uterus sides when there is a pause in labor? Listen, in Saratha, I would not say that. I don't feel I have the authority to be able to say that. I've had that conversation with vets, I can tell you, and I've had conflicting information. I've had where, if the contraction cease is both horns at the same time. But I'm like, yeah, but the pups are coming out either from one horn or the other. So you're telling me that when she has a contraction, she's pushing both horns? Supposedly the answer is yes. It's what I've gotten. So it is what it is. By the way, topic on hand, feeding tonight. Ask, be more specific, VBX. By the way, I dropped all the words, guys, and I dropped them in different order. You can re-scramble them into a word. Queens over here said that if a non-member is able to guess it, she's going to buy 5 free memberships. However, I said that if a member guesses it, I'm going to not only send that member Nuvet, I'm going to send Queen's New Blood Nuvet as well, right? Regan Blues, okay, thank you. You got it. Queen's New Blood, no, 2 different doors on for entering and exiting the whelping or birth room. One for the humans, the sanitized foot, shoot bath, another for the females, but more so as something to wash them down. There you go. Sally Adams, puppy CPR, your wife performs miracles. Hopefully you'll never need it. But does everyone know what to do? Sally, we're going to get into that on Monday. Tonight is mostly what you need going in. Please, if I missed anything, Sally, please go ahead and bring it up. I'm sure I missed something somewhere. I'm just trying to bring in as many tricks and deep, not tricks, but, a lot of times you have even older breeders that don't know simple things. And so, we're setting this up where I need you to know everything you need. And then on Monday, we're going to deep dive into, how to revive a puppy. I've already spoken about the thrusting action and about rubbing the puppy on the back with the head facing down. So gravity helps the secretions come out. That's what's really important. Reggie Boone, try to get your oxytocin from veterinarian before labor. Yes. 2 things you need to talk to your vet about that you don't want to forget. Vet, is there any way I could get oxytocin for you? If he or she says, no, I don't feel comfortable, then be like, if they're not giving you emergency services or they have a cutoff time, then you can say, listen, what if she goes to birth at 1 a.m.? You're not here to help me. And, I don't want losing any pups. I don't want to have a situation. If you give me clear indications, typically they'll give you 3 vials, maybe even a 4th vial, and it's just 3 mLs each. There's not really much that you can do with that outside of reactivating the labor if she decides to go into a pause. Cody Phelps, my bully won't stop licking her paws and gets bumps on her back. What do I do? Cody, listen, my brother, I really want to help you, and I'm going to give you a shot. You may want to help her with her gut health, maybe a little kefir. If you're feeding kibble in particular, I strongly suggest, man, you check out our sponsor, Nuvet NuJoint DS right here. Multivitamin and joint support is really important, man, because a lot of times your dogs will have fur issues and coat issues. Really what they're saying is they're having a deficiency of some sort of vitamin. VBX, hand feeding puppies, things we can do if dam not producing milk properly, or even if she was to get infected, tools, etc. VBX, you just reminded me of something that I didn't even mention, and it's really important. So let me go ahead and put it up here. Puppy feeding kit. You need a puppy feeding kit. I don't care what brand or what. You need a puppy feeding kit. And not only that, you need to watch videos on how to properly feed a puppy. Okay. It's really easy. It's really not that complicated. You really need to have this on hand, because if you have a puppy that's either not suckling or mom is running into issues, you're going to have to start feeding. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about this on Monday. VBX, thanks for bringing up that. Instarata says, feeding tube in case I haven't had to use it, but oh, there you go. Feeding tube. Okay, so Instarata was already bringing it up. Damn, you're quick, Reggie. What did Reggie do? Hold on. Did Reggie answer? Hold on. Reggie, yes, he says, try to get your oxytocin from your veterinarian before labor. Look. You know I'm transparent. Try and get oxytocin from your veterinarian before labor. Reggie Boone. Wow. Reggie Boone is on point. All right, Reggie. You just cost me 2 new vets, man, for paying attention, man. Good job, man. Good job. I'm just kidding, man. Do me a favor, Reggie. I need you to download QBN app. In fact, I'm going to make it even easier. I'm just going to put my number on here, and you can text me your information directly. Please, if you're not Reggie, don't text me. I am going to ask for ID. I'm just giving you a heads up, because I've had it before where I put my number and I'll get 20 different people sending me saying they're Reggie, and I'm going to ask for ID. Just giving you a heads up. Also, Queen's New Blood, do me a favor, send me a message as well through the phone number that's right here. And I'm going to make sure you guys get your new vet. Okay. It's really that simple. That was excellent. Excellent. Reggie Boone was on point for you. So I'm glad you won. We all won on this, right? We all won on this. Let's see here. Hand feeding. Oh, we hit that already. Let me see if I'm missing anything. But is mom delaying the birth because she's afraid and stressed? Any first-time mom will feel that way. Listen, a first-time mom can feel that way, but nature, she can't stop her hormones from releasing oxytocin. Like, she can be as stressed as she wants. She can't stop that. Where you're going to see, I feel, the majority of the issues is once she gives birth, what she does with the pup. So we were talking at the very beginning. It's very important that you have a quiet area for your puppies and mom to whelp in. You don't know how many times I've heard of people losing a pup because mom got up all of a sudden because she heard a voice from the front door, right? And she stepped on a puppy, right? You don't want to do that. You want mom really far away, nice and relaxed in a little cubby hole somewhere with her pups where you're able to supervise and see what's happening in there, okay? So I'm just throwing it out there. One reason to have her in a secluded area that she's comfortable with. Exactly. Nadine's, look, good point. Smooth music and a stress-free atmosphere will help her. Absolutely. Rican must have tube feeding and syringe. Yeah, Rican, I got there before you did, but no, good point. Queen's New Blood, also Blueberry Blues. Oh, no, he did it, guys. I'm sorry. By the way, I'm going to make an announcement tonight as to a breeding that we are making a change on, but since they named Blueberry Blues, we're going to have to play them.
Like blue eyes in a sea of blue, I can't stop thinking about you. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way you do you. Blueberry motherfucker, you. That's right, blueberry motherfucker, you. You act like you own the place. In the QBN yard, you're far away. Blueberry motherfucker, you. Saving my nickels and dimes, taking my time so I can get my bone and structure from Blueberry motherfucker, you. I know you're gonna produce. I got to save up. I gotta invest in you. Blueberry motherfucker, you. You are the best, cleaner than the rest. Blue, 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 sweet blue, you sexy motherfucker, you. We love you, we sure do. Drink you like blueberry juice. Blueberry motherfucker, you. I've seen many blue dogs, but none are like you. Blueberry motherfucker, you. You blueberry motherfucker, you. You got me waiting and waiting, gave me the blueberry motherfucker blues.
All right, so I'm going to make a breeding announcement. I haven't made the banner or anything like that. I'll probably do that tomorrow at some point. But we were going to breed our girl. This is a Brim daughter. We were going to breed her to none other than the walking standard Hector. That's the breeding that we had planned. However, we decided to make a change. We decided to make a change because Blueberry over here is showing some stuff. He's showing some stuff. And let me give you a little bit of insight as to why I went ahead and made this change. Turns out little old Blueberry over here has a COI of 24. That's the coefficient of inbreeding. For those of you that don't know what that means, it means how many homozygotic pairs or identical pairs the dog has, meaning how strong he's able to push forward his traits. Now, the beauty of this breeding is that this girl right here, because she is a Brim daughter, and Brim happens to be Blueberry's grandpa, it makes her a half auntie to little old Blueberry, right? So she's a half auntie to Blueberry. So the beauty of it as well is she is walking around. Look, I'm here talking to you guys. Let me show it to you, man. Like, come on, Raul. Like, I'm surprised none of you asked for it, but I'm going to show it to y'all anyways so you can see what I'm talking about. It's better if I show it than if I talk on it. So here you go. So we're going to go. Oh, man, I got some exceptional news with my girl Twix. I'll show you here in a minute. But Blueberry over here, he's got a COI of 24. As you can see, his birthday is July 5th, right around the corner. And where's Girl at? She's right here. Girl has a COI of 16, which has me super excited. Has me super excited because the blood is not too tight. However, this is a line breeding. And the beauty of her is, if we go all the way down to her IGF-1 right here, bingo, she is NI. She carries a big gene and a small gene. So she got a big gene from either mom or dad and a small gene from the other parent. Also, girl health-wise is clean. The only thing that comes up is mast cell tumor. I've explained to you guys 100 million times that it's coming up on all bullies at this point, right? But then we're going to go to my dude over here, little Blueberry, little old Blueberry. Where you at? Here he is. He's got a COI of 24, like I said. And we go to traits and check this out. This little pocket walking around with the NI as well on the IGF-1. N meaning big, I meaning small. So this is great. And then what makes it even more great is he's clean in health. Why do I say clean? Well, Raul, I see ALT activity and it says he's got 2 copies. Doesn't that mean that the puppy has an issue? No, not at all. In fact, I am super happy that he has this because I have found that puppies that have 2 copies of this are more muscular and they trespass that. In addition, he does have a flag for retinal atrophy, CRD4 or CORD1, which we know does not affect our breed at this point, as for years people have been breeding it and it just simply doesn't affect our breed. So that's what I got. Blueberry will be bred to girl, and since this is his first breeding, and they're both blue, we're gonna call the litter the Blueberry Blues litter, right? Is really that simple. One other thing I didn't mention, my girl Twix. Look at this. Look at this. So I got Tisha. Remember, I got Tisha earlier this year. She's got a koi of 30. But this girl Twix, and I don't have a picture of her tonight. I'll have it on Monday. She is clean as well. We got that mast cell tumor that's coming up with all bullies. But check it out. Twix is walking around with 2 copies, 2, not 1, 2 copies of ALT activity, just like little old Blueberry. And then to make matters worse, if we go all the way down to her IGF-1, she is also NI. She carries a big gene and a small gene. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am at the prospects of eventually breeding Blueberry to her, right? So Blueberry is going to be bred to girl right now. So for those of you tuning in right now, this little old Blueberry, right? Little old Blueberry in different angles, right? Little old Blueberry. He's not even a year yet. Officially, he's not a year yet. And he's going to be bred to my girl. We're going to update pictures on girl because these pictures right here are from like 5 months away. She's a lot more stockier right now. So we're super, super excited. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, Nadine says, laugh out loud. I can't. She's talking about the song. Queasy Bud, both will give you tight koi and line breed and give you good breed type dogs that carry NI or display double I. Absolutely. So will they produce pockets or standards? I knew this question was coming. So that's the reason. That's the reason I brought this here. Let me go ahead and erase this here real quick, and we'll do a quick Punnett square, right? We're going to do a little quick Punnett square. There you go. This way y'all can see it. So the way we're going to know is you're going to go NI. This is Blueberry up here, and this is going to be girl, right? And we're going to put NI for her, right? And we're going to do the crisscross applesauce over here, and we're going to go N here, and we're going to bring that N down. We're going to bring the N down, my bad, and bring the I over. We're going to bring the N here and the I down. And on this one, we're going to bring this I and we're going to bring that I. So your question of, are they going to be pockets or standards? Here's your answer. 50% of the litter is going to be an I. That's 50%. We got 25% of the litter is going to be double I. And we have 25% of the litter that's going to be double N. More than likely, your standards are going to be here, and you might get something here. Your pockets, more than likely, are going to be here, and you're going to get something there. Okay? So that's how you figure out what it is that you're getting in the upcoming breeding. Now, if I have, say, 10 puppies, and I have 6 that are standards, and we said, oh, well, you know, when you did the Punnett square, it was supposed to be 50%. Listen, it was 50% going into the breeding. There's no guarantee that things are going to fall exactly to that. Those are just probabilities, okay? Also a chance on XL pup or close to XL. Yes, there is a chance. You have double N. And we know that double N, when they match up, let me explain something to you. Maybe I need to buy one of them electronic boards to make everybody's life easier rather than having this little whiteboard. But what ends up happening is you have dog X and you have dog Y, right? I don't know if y'all can see it there. Well, the X is looking like the Y. So here, you have X and Y. So what ends up happening is on that end that they're both carrying, if on the chromosome, and imagine that this is a chromosome, okay? Imagine that that's a chromosome. If they happen to fall within the same range, of each other, what ends up happening is they multiply exponentially. They will multiply exponentially. You will get an exaggerated form of that 2 times large. And so does the possibility lie that we could have an XL running around? Possibility is there. Okay, so excellent question. Pundit Square, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Double N and I, correct. Liz Moore, I got the blueberry hold my beer blues. There you go, Liz Moore. I like it. In fact, I was thinking, you guys tell me this, right? I will only do this if you guys show me that you want to do this. I will create a contest. You guys got to prove it to me, though. I'll create a contest where I want to do the Blueberry Blues competition, where any one of you guys could download the song, copy it. I don't care, as long as you're not making fun of it. And you, I don't know, interpret it in some sort of way. Whoever gets the most likes, shares, and comments, I will cover your one dog. I will cover with Nuvet and NuJoint DS for the year. But in order for that to happen, once we get off of this live, I need to see somebody post, we want the Blueberry Blues competition. And I need to see at minimum, we have 50 people up in here. I need to see at minimum 40 likes on that. If I see that, I'll go ahead and run it. Okay. That's simple. Probably Queen's Bus says probably we'll keep a couple females back and use Hector on them since they coil will be tighter. He carries an eye, if I remember correctly, after outcross, he could take that female from Hector back to BB. No, Hector's not an eye. Hector's double N. I make no mistake about it. When I tell you we're bringing Hector into this yard, is for a reason. It's because he does carry double N. So even though he's a standard at 18.5 inches, he has the ability to produce bigger. We're bringing him in now. He's not going to be the only blood in my yard. The counter blood to him, if you will, or the other blood that we're going to be running is going to be this blood right here that you're seeing in Blueberry and in Girl. Which, you know, you're going to see some Grim. We also have our female Morticia. She got Cocaine Cowgirl in her. She's got Grim, Bram, so on and so forth. So we're going to be running 2 lines in the yard. We're not just going to be running one per se. We are going to bring Hector in on board. We're hopefully going to be able to tie him into both. Also keep in mind, please don't forget by any means, we still got Champion Sunshine over here, which I'm going to tell you guys something that I don't know. Some people may like it, some people may not, but it is what it is. She was standing next to Girl today, and Sunshine was as tall at Withers as Girl was, which then would mean she is no longer a pocket. She is a standard. So, I mean, I'm excited to see at the end of the year when we're going to go ahead and take Hector. into Sunshine. I think that Hector into Sunshine is going to be a very big deal for us as well as all the other breedings. All the breedings have a reason of being. That's why I decided to go with Blueberry and Girl. I feel that, Blueberry being line bred to a female that, is his half auntie and has his blood. Her correctness, his girthiness, I think is a match made in heaven. So it is what it is. Break out the wicked, says Adam Fields. You got it. But guys, listen, that's all I got for you tonight, man. Those are the things that you need to have together before you have a female go into labor on you. We're going to be talking about complications come Monday. And let me bring it up one last time, and I'm going to leave it with Blueberry Blues. Thank you for joining us Friday night Bully Talk. It's been Rolf in the Q, and I'll be catching you on the next one.
Like blue eyes in a sea of blue, I can't stop thinking about you. The way you walk, the way you stand, the way you do you. Blueberry motherfucker, you. That's right, blue, blue, blue. Blueberry motherfucker, you. You act like you own the place. In the QBN yard, you're far away. Blueberry motherfucker, you. Saving my nickels and dimes, taking my time so I can get my bone and structure from Blueberry motherfucker.